Take two.
And give me a clap. 1, 2,
Give me the clap.
No,
1, 2.
Yeah! Well, clap. G'day, you're with Spider from Baditude Rock and Roll. I'm with some great guys here at the moment. Simple, Stone, how are we, boys?
We're very good.
We got Matty, Alex and Shank.
Welcome to the gun show.
Welcome to the gun show, all right. And just a little footnote, we're at the rehearsal studios, Studio Blues at Windsor. Yeah, run by our magnificent mate, Davey Blues. Great man, great musician. Guys, we're going to get into, you just got back from Japan.
We did.
So so we'll discuss that later on, but let's go through a couple of the normal questions first. How long have we been together?
Well, that's a really interesting question. The band's been around for quite some time. 2001 through till about 2008. Took a hiatus for a couple of years, but this format since 2015.
So there has been other formats beforehand?
Well, yeah, we were a 4-piece when we began.
Yeah, okay.
But 3-piece just kind of worked.
Yeah.
You know, less ex-girlfriends.
3.
Less people you got to deal with.
I'm not going to get into that. That's not the reason why I had a 3-piece. But 3 pieces, I find are just a lot more easy to handle. You know, less human interaction in there as well. And you guys are obviously touring now, and getting on. So that's it. That's the formula. You know.
Yeah, getting hard on.
And
we gel on the road, you know, so we all know where each other's space needs to be, you know. We all compensate for drummers' rubbish. We just get amongst it and it works. So
it's kind of it's kind of cool because that's why I always say that to the younger bands, you know, like you got to have that like Motley Crue type of vibe, you know, where you can live together, sleep together, fight together, you know.
We don't sleep together.
He makes a pretty big point.
Next question. Let's have a talk about your first, and correct me if I'm wrong on anything, because my research is always, you know, wherever it is. Chronicles of a Faded Heart.
Yeah.
So how did that come about and when did we do that?
So we released that, I think, officially 2019. The song was just written out of like a new start for the band, a new sound, new writing style. We sort of pushed the punkier roots of the band.
Okay. But this is for a first album. So you experimented with a sound on the first album?
Yeah, we'd done other records and other recordings and bits and pieces, but they didn't...
They were EPs, really, right?
They were EPs, and they, you know, we were still finding a sound. So Chronicles, the band came together and it found its sound.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And still going all right?
Still going all right, yeah.
It's not my stall.
It should be.
Let's get on to the second album. How long ago did that come out? That was Through This Dark.
Yeah, so we released
January
that January 2023.
Yeah.
So only like last year.
Yeah. It took us a while to record it. Took us a while to put it together, mainly because of COVID times and bits and pieces.
Yeah,
and then when we finished the album, I put another song together which I kind of thought was imperative to the record, and so we went back into the studio, put everything on hold, went back into the studio. We had to redo artwork. It was a full pain in the bum.
Yeah, we did video and everything for it, so...
Yeah.
That was for one of the singles, because you had...
Passing Through. It was
all the same, Passing Through.
Yeah.
Passing Through was your second single off that.
Yeah. And it's just been one of those pocket rockets that, you know, just worked. So...
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Sometimes it's good to do a record and then sit back and see what it needs. And
so you're 2 albums in?
We're 2 albums in.
Two
full length studio album.
Full on, yeah.
Full
EPs
length.
We're 2 really good albums. Really good albums.
EPs still available, like previous EPs, or?
We don't have any pressings of them. There's the odd one about.
Find something. These guys are going to get big, and I'm going to have them.
We find something. We can scratch it up.
You find, give them.
We're actually cherry picking some of that stuff for the new material, and we did The Sickness off it back in 2021, somewhere there. That was The Sickness was an older song that we revamped just to do some studio time before we did Through This Dark.
Now you said on the first album you would still experiment with songs. Did the second album differ in any way, or did you develop along?
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah, I
It
think the
did because
songwriting
we-
between the two of them, there's an evolution, there's a growth. I think
Yep.
the
Yeah,
sound evolved. Like
as you should do.
Yeah,
on the second
yeah,
album.
yeah.
That's good. What did the producer say to me once? He said on the second album, he said, "Boys, you're gone from high school up to college." So
Yeah.
I just thought I'd throw that in. Experience. You guys, I've seen you guys live. We've played together at certain gigs. You did your first gig. We'll talk about that later on. Back in Australia, you obviously love your work live. In the studio, how do you find the comparison? You know what's. I'm not trying to delve into whether live's your favourite or studio. We all know, but the comparison to doing the studio work compared to live. Just thoughts.
Yes.
Jack.
I think often you can, especially if we've sort of run a track, we've rehearsed a track, like we're writing, we go into a studio and we track it, we put it down, but hasn't been in the set.
Yeah.
Often once you start to play it, you can find different energy.
Yeah.
You know, so it translates differently sometimes, and
Yeah.
it just changes.
Do you just get that? Do you just get that vibe when you're playing it live, or you think, oh, you know, the song develops while you're playing it live, and you think, I wish I did it that way on the album.
Yeah. Second Place is a big example of that. There's a big, there's a stop in the second, third verse that just brings more energy to it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just because we've had a song floating around in a room, and we're vibing off what it has become. You know, and that's what makes music, I guess.
I think we were a lot more thorough. I think when we recorded Through This Dark. That's what we could do when we were producing the songs in such a way that you've actually got to be careful that you're not overproducing.
Yes.
And you're sort of writing yourself out of something you can do live.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's the production wise, you're very right. Especially with a 3-piece band, you can really overplay that. You know? I remember listening to early Queen albums, and these, you know, there's so much production in them. God, man, they could do it live. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had another bloke playing guitar or piano on the side. You know, the fifth member, but. Still come out brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, these guys just got back from Japan!
Konnichiwa.
Yeah, and you were so excited. I loved it. I was watching it all the way, and you know, they're coming out with all these little videos, check them all out, you know, and playing here and there. Tell us about it. How'd it go?
It's fucking sick. It's pretty dope. I had a favourite saying. I said it almost every day when I was there, which is "Tobacco stimuli desu ka?" which is "Can I smoke?" You can tell where my priorities are. But yeah, no, their cigarettes over there are pretty fucking crazy. So if you go to Japan to smoke,
I just thought you'd be unrealistic.
oh, it was insane. But yeah, no, Japan was a great experience. I mean, for me, I've only been out of the country once, and that was for a college thing.
Yeah.
And I went to Nepal. So being to Japan, that's a completely different atmosphere. The people, like, so different.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
it was brilliant.
And the crowds were very receptive to you. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the film clips.
It was pretty raw, you know, in your face. Just go, you know, just go, be us, wind it up to 150%, and let it all hang out.
Yeah, yeah,
and the Japanese crowd was really responsive.
Yeah,
to it.
the venues, the other bands, and the crowds, they're all very receptive. They're all really cool about us being there, and really, really happy we were there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one point in the last show where I just had to stand back and just look at what was going on, just to take a mental snapshot and just go, holy shit.
Yeah.
You know,
we're in another country, place.
This is
How cool's that, eh?
just pumping. And
Yeah.
it was,
Yeah.
you know, that mental snapshot, you know, was worth $1 million. It's awesome.
And on top of that as well, Australia, you need to pick up your boots, mate, because we got stopped in Japan. We got stopped.
Twice?
Twice. People just come up to us and go, "Oh, you're Simple Stone, you're Simple Stone."
Subways,
Oh, that's
random
great.
subways.
Yeah, out of the blue.
Tap us on the shoulder.
Yeah, you in band, you Simple Stone? Yeah, can we get a photo? Yes.
Yeah, there's 40 million people in Tokyo, and you know,
Two of
we
them.
got stopped.
Yeah,
It's pretty weird.
by 2 people out of
did-
40 million. That's
did
better
that.
than Australia.
We did that once, and we were touring around in the Tamworth or something somewhere, and we got up in the morning, we went to put our shorts on and put the towels on and went down to the local pool, and people were pulling up, bipping our irons and yelling out at us, and we're going, "Oh, we're famous here, eh?" The pool was closed, hadn't been for about 3 years. Anyway, so as a band, sorry for reading these out, but I just want to make sure I get the right questions out. Was it easy on the equipment side of things? We discussed this offline before. So was it, you know, did the tour manager have it all sorted? And any hints or recommendations you can have for any like bands that are looking at going overseas?
Yeah, in Japan, so wherever you tour is different, right? If you tour here in Australia, nobody wants to share backlines. You know, we drag everything. We put it all in the truck and we drag it all over the country, right? When we went to Japan, for us, for Shanks and I, it was guitars, pedal boards, into one of them.
Yep.
You know, every night, and so there was minimal gear that had to be carried. House drum kit, we took cymbals and bits and pieces, so it made the tour easier.
Yeah.
We are going to the States next year.
Ah, that's good. God, I was going to keep that as a surprise.
So touring the States is going to be a different piece. We're going to have to hire a van, hire equipment,
Yeah.
and take it with us. So
Yeah.
you know, it's a different beast. So
Yeah.
everywhere you
expensive
tour,
beats by the sounds of it.
yeah, but there's
Absolutely.
different costs offset different things. you
I
know,
love
so-
how they go and do a tour of Japan, come back to Australia, do a gig for me at Baditude at the Grey Gums, 500,000 people, and then off to America. How great's that, boys? Thank you very much.
Very good.
It was a great gig. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. So we'll just talk about that up and coming American tour. So everything's set. When are you looking at? What type of dates?
Yeah, it's August, so we're going over to do Sturgis in August 2025. That's
Sturgis. That's going to be great.
to be announced.
Yeah.
I think we can probably say it with our fingers crossed that that's 99% in the pipe.
Excellent.
In the chamber.
So we'll keep tabs on that and let you know how they're going.
Yeah, and then there'll be some shows supporting that, and then there's a follow up to that, but it's got to be.
So we've got plans into 2026
Yeah.
at the moment. You know?
Yeah, good.
And, then,
And you have to, that.
Yeah, and then there'll be a trip to Japan too. Hopefully within the next, within the next 18 months.
Oh,
to
you got to
2 years.
get back there.
Oh,
Yeah. You would have twice, 3 times filled your places next time, you know, easy. With the covers, I noticed, look, we all do it, but I noticed you do like Rockin' in the Free World. We must have had a blue that night because that was our cover for that night when we played together. I think it was at Penrith somewhere.
There you go.
Um,
Maybe it was
and-
inspiration.
Yeah, could have been, man. And you recorded Dead or Alive. A great film clip to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did that. So do you think it's necessary to be doing covers here and there? I know my answer to it, or is it just a bit something to play with and have a bit of fun?
For me, I think it's like tactically, sometimes it's good if you're in a dry spell as far as writing or whatever. It's just good to keep the wheels wet.
Yeah.
Have something to do in the studio.
Yeah, good point.
But on the other side of that, like we don't often play any of the covers we've written. Not written. We recorded in our sets.
We didn't write them.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Sorry, right? But
Wish I had it.
But yeah, I think I always see it as a window to expand your availability to an audience. And maybe someone hears that. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I know that song. Oh, this is a different
Yeah.
version. And then they maybe check you out, check out what you do.
Yeah. Well, I've always seen it, in the music business side of things. It's a good promotional tool.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good to get it at something else out there. People look it up and then they go, oh, here's a version of it.
Yeah.
In the same sense, Absolutely. You know, appreciate that answer. It was a good answer.
Yeah,
But, it is. It's like having a bit of a play every now and then, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I remember, you know, just come on stage and all of a sudden you get to the cover and it's like, oh man, it's a bit of fun now, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't think you're concentrating as hard. Sorry, Matt, you want to say?
I was going to say, Shane's mentioned, you know, to wet the wheels. It keeps the studio fit. You know,
Yeah.
we can, being in the studio can be really daunting, and it can be difficult if it's not a process as part of your musical life.
Yeah.
So in between albums, we like to do like a single here and there of our own gear,
Yeah.
and that keeps us writing.
Yeah.
But also to be able to get in and do a cover, it keeps us together as a unit in the studio.
Especially if
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
you
well
know,
as well.
it's an exercise if you're like, okay, what can we do with this song? Like, how can we do our version of it?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that, you kind of got to do that too, don't
Yeah.
you? You know?
With the Dead or Alive, Shanks was like, it's not a karaoke version, so
No.
let's do it. Let's rip it up. You know.
Yeah, we did.
And it stuck to the formula. You know, it stuck to the song. The guitar solo was a bit different because I wanted to not just do the one that he did, but I wanted to put my own spin on
You
it.
get exactly. You're giving it your edge or spin.
And
Yeah.
it was, when I was doing that, it was thinking of similar phrasings, but how would I do it? So
Yeah.
it gave me a bit more freedom to just rip it up in my way.
Yeah.
And it worked,
Yeah.
but it's not the same. It's not.
But as a
exact
punter, that's good to
redo.
listen to.
Yeah.
You're expecting that little bit of
Yeah, you've
difference
got it in your head how
somewhere,
it
you
goes,
know.
yeah.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and if it's done well, you're on, you know.
So in
Yeah.
Rockin' in the Free World, there was a couple of major differences for that. The chord progression is slightly different in the tail of each phrase of the chorus. The first little guitar solo lead break kind of thing was done in the vein of how I viewed the overall whole solo.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to take the fundamental element of that and then make that into my guitar solo.
Yeah.
And then when we were doing it, Bowie just rips into the outro solo with a gallop, like dun, 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 dun,
Yep,
dun,
yep.
dun.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, okay, that's what you're doing, so that's what we're all doing, and that was really cool. So
Yeah.
you know, kind of put our own spin on it. You know.
Yeah. It's type of like, you know, a bit of a tribute
Yeah.
you know, to the past and all that type of stuff, and your,
Yeah.
Yeah.
your influences, you know,
Yeah.
if that's a word for it. Okay, so live, you're obviously doing the hard yards. You can see that, you know, you're a full on. You want to get out there. You want to be in amongst it, right? So, what's your thoughts on the modern era as an original band? You know, gigs and all that, and doing promotion, all that is on the modern era, like compared to how it was years ago. I think we've all been there, probably bar you, young bloke.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have no notes on those times.
But like, you know, we all wish we always say, oh, I wish we had this back in the 80s, you know,
Yeah,
would have,
yeah.
you know, gone berserk.
Right.
I find it probably that little bit difficult, but I want your spin on it, you know.
Yeah, I suppose we can have our own sort of say on it, but for me, I don't think it's changed. Like, the scene's changed, the venues have changed, the quality of music has changed, but the cream always rises to the top. You've still got to get on the road every other week, every weekend, every date, and go and tour.
And that's where you sell your music and
that's-
sell your merch.
Yeah, and that's what we do. We get on the road to all the country towns, and we spend life on the road.
Yeah,
And I guess that's why we sound the way we do.
yeah,
You know, the cream will always rise to the top. We play with really, really good bands and take inspiration out of that.
Yep.
And sometimes we inspire bands to be at that kind of level. So I think that's always been the same. The scene has changed, yes, 100%, but in essence, it's still, you got to get out on the road
Yeah.
if you're going to do anything.
yeah,
And I think a lot of bands nowadays don't bother because they need to be internet sensations really quickly, but the longevity of a band is its success. You know, and I still think that's true.
Oh, I think you've mastered your craft for 3 years, you know.
Yeah.
You know, no expert in this field, but I know something good when I see it and hear it, and
Thank you.
you guys have it.
Thanks.
You know.
Thanks.
we touched on your videos before. Brilliant videos, just quietly. Who comes up with the theme? Like, is it, you do this with the production? What type of theme? Are you going for a theme at all?
We get the board together and we go through with the production team, and then we weed it all out because it's way too expensive.
Yeah.
And then we do it ourselves.
I get it every time.
Yeah, yeah.
And we do it all ourselves. Shanks cuts most of it.
Yeah, cool.
We have differing ideas about how things are going to come out, and we'll gel on an idea and then just go shoot.
Yeah.
Sometimes the theme of a video might sort of present itself as you're putting it together.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
No, I reckon you do have a theme. It's I don't know what it is, but it's you can.
The theme's whatever the hell
like
we
it.
want.
Yeah.
Through lines,
as you watch the
You're
videos,
trying to put us into a box.
No. It's what I'm trying to.
Yeah.
They tell a story. They do tell a story.
I do try to make it coherent.
Yeah. So it's not just just setting up in the studio room and just going berserk. It's
the B-roll stuff's really important to get a storyline or a story thread through your video.
B-roll.
Just to try and keep people interested.
Take note of that B-roll.
B-roll. Yeah.
If that's what I say, that little bit extra.
It's the other footage that isn't just another band doing another live shot. You can do
exactly.
like first time we shot in I was in a vacant building that I had some boys working in, and I was like, we need to shoot in that basement this weekend.
Yeah.
Because it's vacant this weekend. So
we
we shot
fucking
the
did.
live component, and then Shanks came up with a storyline, and we did the rest of it. And, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
I had like one cool idea, but mostly was just sitting down looking pretty. Yeah. That's usually my part. in the
Play to your
film.
strengths, man.
Yeah. What can I say?
They weren't gonna put me in
23,
that,
young
yeah.
buck.
See, there was some other footage that was shot that never made it past the cutting room.
Yeah.
We all got into an elevator there and shot it all in an elevator to use as other footage, and it never made it. So
The good thing is, all that saved up stuff later on. Just any footage, I love putting together footages of bands just with just splashes of everything,
Yeah.
I've noticed. I'm watching a few comments coming back in your band. I've noticed you're being compared to Rush.
yeah,
Have you?
Really?
Have you?
Yeah.
You know that? Yeah. And I'm not talking about one comment. I'm talking a few.
Wow.
yeah.
I don't know, Matty, whether it's the voice thing. There was a hint on the voice. I don't think it's that. I do think you got a pretty good Rush style, which is
Hey, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, take that any day.
Wow.
We've been compared to a lot of bands. We've been compared to Faith No More a lot, and that's kind of vocally, I think.
Yeah.
Faith No More and Rush. I don't think we sound anything like Faith No More or Rush.
Yeah.
But hey, if it's reminding you of something that's cool, and then that's awesome. And music moves people in the way that music moves people.
There was a line in one of the tracks. I can't remember which one it is now. Off Through This Dark, and it reminds me. It's a crowded house. I hear Neil Finn.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
The way you sing it. Yeah.
Right.
So it's just.
Yeah, but it's just like influences, It's good to see a bit of Australian, influence in there too. Every time, every band I've been in gets compared to Rose Tattoo and AC/DC, and it's not Rose Tattoo, it's not AC/DC, it's the Australian sound,
Yeah.
So anyway, I heard something on the grapevine. Did you want to touch on that? There's going to be a little bit of an announcement coming out soon. You don't have to announce it. But
None of us are pregnant, are they?
The last time I checked. We've got some pretty big news coming up. Let's put it that way. It's exciting for us. It's going to take us to other places.
New horizons.
New horizons.
I kind of know it, but I'm not going to tell you.
Tig bins are coming.
on our socials.
Tig bins.
Honestly, fair dinkum. Keep an eye out for it because it's great news. I'm so happy for the boys. They're putting in the hard yards, as we've been saying all the way through this. These guys, if you haven't seen them yet, you're missing out on something. I'm telling you, they're going to be huge. I love it. I'm not doing a Molly Meldrum. I am just very confident of these guys, especially with the energy that they're putting into it.
It's pretty hard looking, this pretty, to be honest, eh?
I'd like to thank you very much, and while I'm here, as I always do.
Present us with some kind of trophy.
Yes, just get one of these each.
All right.
Hey!
Yeah, roll.
I'm going to put my water in this.
Thank
There
you.
we go. And a couple of Baditude singlets.
Hey.
I know, I don't know what size they are. Come and see me if you're... There, Matty.
Thank you.
XL.
Guys,
Fuck yeah.
best of luck for the future. You don't
Yeah.
need it. You're off and running. You're going there. Good luck with the tour for next year. Keep a lookout for the good news coming up. Get on there, support these guys. Get on Spotify, buy their CDs, buy their albums,
Buy our
put it on your
t-shirts.
list. Buy the t-shirts.
Do
That's
all
where the
that
money
stuff.
comes for us. Thank you very much. You're a Spider from Baditude Rock and Roll. Simple Stone!
Yeah.